Welcome to the Jazzy Kitty Show, a positive vibe for your TV and your radio. Here I have with me my beautiful mother, Jazzy Jean.
Everybody.
We wanted to talk to you guys about a serious subject that was dear to our heart. As you know, we have published a book, The Voices of Vietnam Veterans Speaking Out. And that's exactly what this book does. It helps the veterans speak out. So we had several veterans write their story in our book to tell exactly how they felt about their experience. And the book is dedicated to my father, the late Cleveland Scott, my mother's husband, and we just want to say we miss him very much. And this whole program is about letting you know how the Vietnam veterans suffered over in Vietnam and then again when they came home, how they wasn't treated fairly.
Yes.
And I know you guys see people walking with signs down the street saying, I'm a Vietnam vet, homeless. So we know our government is not doing the right thing. So, Mom, could you please tell them how you feel?
I'm very passionate about this book. I had this vision a long time ago. My cousin Bobby came over to the house. He came from Vietnam, and he was hollering and screaming on the floor, talking about the Vietnam coming. We thought we had to call 911. And then we told him that was told a lot of different other people coming to me telling their stories. This is a very passionate vision for me. My vision was to get this book out. Then my husband passed away. My beautiful, awesome pastor, Donald Lonnie Rector at Pilgrim Baptist Church, was talking about the Vietnam era. And then Brother Aaron, who's the president of the ministry, came over and gave me a pamphlet on Agent Orange, and I started reading it. And I said, "Oh, my husband suffered like this." It was very sad when he suffered. He really suffered, and Vietnam vets are not getting what they do. I haven't even got my husband's spousal support. There's a lot going on, and some of the children from the Vietnam vets have issues, and people had told me about that, and my daughter's one of them. And I think it's really sad. These children, the lady at the cemetery told me that they're only honoring the kids at birth, but it's more than just birth. Mm-hmm. And them kids, my daughter got sick at 11. She got more health problems than any of the kids. And a couple other people talk about their children. And some children have died from, issues from their husbands, their, fathers from Vietnam. There's a lot going on. It's just a sad, very sad. I hope and pray that the government will open their heart and really dig deep and search this issue very, very, because a lot of vets are suffering, and they suffered over there, now they suffering here. They came back, they wasn't received. It's really, really sad situation.
Okay, well, let's tell you a little bit about what Agent Orange is. Agent Orange is a herbicide and a defoliant chemical, one of the technical use rainbow herbicides. It is widely known for its use by the U.S. military as a part of its chemical warfare program. Operation Range Hand during the Vietnam War from 1961 to 1971 is a mixture of equal parts of two herbicides. In addition, it is damaging environmental effects. Traces of dioxin found in the mixture have caused many explosive individual major health problems. So, up to 4 million people in Vietnam was exposed to the defoliant. The government of Vietnam says as many as 3 million people have suffered illnesses because of Agent Orange, and the Red Cross of Vietnam estimates that up to 1 million people are disabled or have health problems as a result of Agent Orange contamination. So we read that so you can understand a little bit of how serious Agent Orange is. And a lot of times, like my mother said, it doesn't show up right away. It may show up years later in the soldiers, and they have all these health problems and they're disabled, and it's really, really, like my mother say, sad. We want to read one of the stories of one of the men that suffered from Vietnam. His name is Rocky L. Hammond Sr. Rocky was really brave to tell his story, and we're really thankful for him. It says, I was drafted into the Army as a construction engineer. My tour of duty in Vietnam was from January 1969 to February 1970. When I received my orders to go to Vietnam, I felt like I was going to death row.
Mhm.
After telling my family, my oldest brother said, I guess I won't see you anymore. There was daily fighting in Vietnam. Seeing my fellow soldiers killed, young Vietnamese who looked like children were fighting and being killed. I then realized why my commanders told us not to make friends, because I may not see some of them anymore. I felt that every day it was my last day to live. I was in Vietnam for 3 months when my position changed from a construction engineer to a combat engineer. And with 1 week of training, my new duties were to look for hidden buried explosives. In addition to these duties, I was still in the line of fire and being shot at. While there, you always had to be in survival mode.
Mhm.
At night, they would drop mortars, which is rockets, at us. We had to fall out on the firing line and we had to return fire. I was shooting a 50 caliber machine gun at daybreak. We had to find at daybreak. They had to find Vietcong bodies and bury them. We dressed in white suits and had to pick up the dead bodies with our hands covered with long gloves. The dead bodies were thrown into a front end loader. The bulldozer would dig a big hole and dozens of bodies were dumped in the hole. We put lime over the bodies and the bulldozer would cover up the hole and roll over the man made grave to pack the ground. I would throw up because the ground looked like jelly and my eyes would be filled with tears. While being in Vietnam, you would think all the soldiers would get along mainly for survivorship. However, there was a high degree of racial tension. My sergeant put me in charge to set up an ambush control. A white soldier who had rank over me pulled his rank and told me that I was setting up the ambush control wrong and told me to set it up his way. His way was the wrong way. We were facing each other. Fortunately, that night there were no fighting because we would have been shooting at each other if it had been. This same white soldier and black soldier started fighting in the bunkers. I broke up the fight by grabbing a black soldier, and another white soldier grabbed the other soldier. When we thought the fight was over, the white soldier was still being held. When I let the black soldier go, he ran out of the bunkers after hitting the white soldier down. When I saw this white soldier pick up his M16 and started shooting at me, I started running and the bullets went into the sandbags. While shooting, he was yelling, All you niggers are in this together. If I had been 2 seconds slower, he would have hit me in the back. He still had his M16 in his hand when everyone came out their bunkers. The sergeant came out and asked what happened. After explaining the situation, the white soldier got a slap on his wrist, which he was housed with all other white soldiers. My captain told me that I could have him court-martialed. He said I would have to stay in Vietnam for an additional 6 months until the court martial was over. My Vietnam tour would have been over in 2 months, therefore, I did not have him court martialed because I didn't want to extend my stay in Vietnam. After about a month later, Our soldiers had to put down asphalt, and a group of us had to do road security to protect them while working. The same white soldier was on a bulldozer pushing brush, excuse me. A road security, our job was also to tell the soldiers to keep up with the group. One of the other soldiers told me to tell the white soldier to catch up. I refused to tell him because he was the same one who pulled rank over me and shot at me with his M16.
Mm-hmm.
A half an hour later, the Vietcong started dropping mortars. When the shooting started, the same white soldier jumped off his bulldozer, then started running into the woods, which was the opposite way from running from us. He had his M16 in his hand. When the shooting stopped, we realized he was missing. We looked for him and found him tied up to a rubber tree with wire around his hands, legs, and throat. His body was completely shot up with bullets, execution style. We had to take his body down because we never leave American soldier body.
Mm-hmm.
How I felt when I came back home. When I returned to the States, I thought I would be received a warm welcome from my friends and family. There was little to no compassion from the people in the U.S. I felt lost and could not understand why I was called a child killer, spit at, and robbed because people probably knew that arriving back to the States, we had mustard pay,
Mm-hmm.
all of our vacation pay. Back then, no one would hire Vietnam vets. Two major things that bothered me. There were so many things that bothered me. However, the two major things are first, there were only 350 caliber machine guns, and I had one of them. We couldn't see people. We only saw red traces. A very young boy was in my line of fire, and I may have killed him. His entire right shoulder was gone. He may have bled to death. The other two soldiers were claiming that they shot him. I refused to claim it was my machine gun that killed him. The second was racial tension amongst blacks and whites. They used to fled rebel flags over their bunkers. The black soldiers flew a red, green, and black flag. The captain told the black soldier to take the flag down because that is an African flag and the rebel flag is American flag.
Mm-hmm.
The conclusion: I did not know anything about post traumatic stress syndrome disorder. However, after returning home, I started doing things that I never did before. I was still in survival mode and thinking bombs were being thrown. I would hear cars backfire and I would drop to the ground trying to take cover. My wife and I were sleeping and I found myself choking my wife, thinking she was the enemy. It took me 8 years to become 100% disabled. This disability has many financial benefits. However, it does not compensate for exposing me to Agent Orange,
Yes.
to the chemical Roundup, which is contributing factor for me getting cancer.
Mm-hmm.
The traumatic stress thinking that I may have killed children, I had to see a therapist because I could not see anyone buried due to the flashbacks of seeing how bodies on top of bodies and Vietcong thrown into the man-made graves. To my knowledge, I do not believe nothing is documented on whether being exposed to this toxic chemical and having PTSD could have negative birth effects, mental or physical, to my children. I was diagnosed with 4-stage cancer, and I thank God every day that now I'm cancer free. I read that to show you how serious this chemical Agent Orange is. My brother got cancer, and like I said, he feels as nothing is documented on Agent Orange. So, and they're not really talking about it. It's like it's a hush hush thing. And that is why my mother and I wanted to do this program tonight, because we wanted you guys to help us look into more of this Agent Orange, and also see why all veterans do not have benefits. Now, we understand some of the vets maybe want to be homeless or whatever. Not saying want to be homeless, but they may be out there doing things they're not supposed to be doing. So it's their risk, their own risk, but most of them do not have a choice. And that's how we feel. We feel that no one should be walking around with a sign saying I'm a Vietnam vet and I'm homeless. I do understand they opened up a place in Delaware. It's like a shelter home, like a hotel home for a lot of vets, and we do appreciate that. Mom, is there anything else you would like to say?
I like to say, you don't know, you don't understand what those guys went through being over there, what they was subjected to every day. They thinking their life gonna be taken from them every minute, not knowing what was coming next. Somebody run out and shoot them. They don't know. Then exposed to Agent Orange is a very, very sad situation.
Yes, it's very sad. So we would like to end by doing a poem. Is called "Thank You for Your Sacrifice," written by yours truly. Serving in Vietnam War was a sacrifice. Too many soldiers did not make it back home because they lost their lives. The Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines all were called to serve our country. Oh, what a sacrifice for all humanity. Veterans Day is observed to say thank you, but it seems there's more that we can do. There shouldn't be any vets homeless or any looking for work. Due to their sacrifice, they should have the government's full support. They should have felt safe as if they were being held in loving arms. But instead, many of them are suffering from PTSD or long term health issues due to the chemical Agent Orange. Just imagine having to shoot on command, not knowing whether again you will see your fellow man, not knowing all the lives you may have taken, not knowing when you go to sleep, will you be awakened? And when you return home, there is no compassion from family and friends. Instead, they will call killers, spit at, and rob to no end. Some soldiers felt like they were in war all over again. Most soldiers were in survival mode and still had flashbacks. Peace in their minds they will never feel that. Oh, what a sacrifice our soldiers did for us. All we can do is continually pray for them that they will be blessed. The entire situation is unfair, and returning soldiers feel like America and the government let them down, and we don't care. So think about all the soldiers that lost their lives, and thank the ones that were blessed to return home to us, and thank them for their sacrifice. Again, once again, in that poem, you heard the word Agent Orange. We also put in our book a memory wall. We could not list all the people due to copyrights. However, we just listed how many people that was taken from us from alphabetical order. A, 1,784. B, 5,510. C, 4,372. D, 2,795. E, 1,082. F, 1,984. And the list goes on. That just give you an overall view of how many soldiers was taking care of us and passed away and died in combat. They said that research learned that over 47,434 American soldiers were killed in a battle during the Vietnam War, which spanned from 1964 to 1965. Additional 10,786 died in the theater of war but out of battle, making a total of 58,220 deaths. You want to learn more about the Vietnam War, go on to the veterans website, the government's website, and you can learn a lot more about the war. I want to thank my co-host tonight, Gene Scott.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And basically, we wanted to do this because we really wanted to get out the word Agent Orange. I know you hear us kept saying it, but it's very serious how that chemical was spread, and it's no coincidence that these soldiers are sick. My mother and I talked to many veterans on this book for research, and everyone we talked to said the same thing about Agent Orange, and they believed their health problems was related to it. Their illnesses was related to Agent Orange. So we would like to bring awareness out there so we can start trying to do research, and hopefully you can too, to help us get some compensation for these veterans because it's not fair. And like my mother said earlier, their kids are suffering. Normally, the firstborn gets it the most, and then it may trickle down, but it's less and less and less as each child is born. But the first child, it's really bad. And my mother says, my sister. Go ahead. How do you want to say it?
Yeah, she suffered. She started getting sick at 11, and she's been sick ever since with multiple different problems, complications.
Yeah. So we're sorry about that. So we want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. And remember, Agent Orange is a serious chemical defoliant, and that many people have been sick. So pray for your federal veterans. Pray for your people who have served in the war, any war. I don't care. It could be American War, Civil War, whatever war. But thank them for their service. You see somebody walking with a veteran hat, say thank you for your service. It doesn't hurt, to reach out and at least say thank you. I'm Jazzy Kitty from Jazzy Kitty Publications. If you need a book published, such as this one or any other book, call us at 877-782-5550, extension 101. Also, feel free to go to our website at www.jazzykittypublications.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you. Our number is 877-782-555, extension 5550, extension 001. Have a blessed night. Thank you.